Miami gave us another 2-for-1 in brand new Miami Hurricanes commits. Got our new center in the transfer portal. And for the second straight year, Miami flips a running back from Ohio State, Zach Carpenter and Jordan Lyle. Welcome to the U.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That Lyle flip got me excited last night. So excited that I am unveiling the official Mario Cristobal Miami National Signing Day spatula. We're flipping those recruits, my friend. We got Lyle and all eyes between now and National Signing Day tomorrow. All eyes are going to be on Armando Blunt. Florida State fans will be sweating that one out. All eyes will be on Adarius Hayes. The Florida fans are nervous and rightfully so about that one. And on Xavier Lucas, who's been committed to Wisconsin. Let's continue those flips, my friend. I am Alex Donno, your host. I'm a University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor to allhurricanes.com. Thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're available free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And folks, if you're in here watching us live, 9:31 a.m. here on Tuesday, a Truth Teller Tuesday, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Hit that like button, subscribe to Locked On Canes on YouTube. If you're listening later on to the audio version, make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Odyssey, wherever you get your pods. And yes, we have two new Miami Hurricanes to celebrate in Jordan Lyle and Zach Carpenter. We've all got our eyes on the quarterback search. We have some new details on that coming up in this episode. We all have our eyes on National Signing Day tomorrow, flips coming in, a potential flip going out. We will talk about all of it. And the Truth Teller is with us. Now, Truth Teller, we're going to dive headfirst into Jordan Lyle and Zach Carpenter in a second. But how are you? Are you still uneasy about the quarterback stuff, or are you feeling pretty good about everything else that's going on?
I feel good about everything that's going on except the quarterback and also except the wide receiver position, because I've been seeing comments that people are upset. Some of them are more upset about the receiver than the quarterback. So, but Mario's doing a hell of a job. I know we're going to get somebody as the quarterback. We're all hoping it's Ward, obviously, which may or may not lead us to Smith. But I'm hearing he's going to Ohio State. So they're falling apart. Florida State's falling apart, and definitely Florida's falling apart.
Florida is completely apart.
They're a mess. How could you commit there knowing their coach might not make it through the season? And what parents are going to let their kids go there to play ball only to have the whole thing blow up?
Yeah,
so
no, definitely.
Let's watch them. They may lose even more people.
Yeah, they probably will. I mean, the one guy that they've are projected to still hold on to and can kind of keep things somewhat together is DJ Lagway, their 5-star quarterback commit.
Right.
They have been pulling out all the stops to keep him locked in. I don't think they're going to lose him, but if they did, the whole thing would completely fall apart. Let's talk about Jordan Lyle. Now, Bruce, I think it's very important to keep as many top local players home as you possibly can. You know, with the exception right now of Jeremiah Smith, who's committed to Ohio State, Miami's done a pretty good job with that, right? You know, locking down the likes of Chance Robinson, JoJo Trader, Zaquan Patterson. Miami could be about to flip Armando Blunt from Miami Central. Miami's done a really good job keeping the local guys home. And for the second straight year, because the Canes did it with Mark Fletcher last year, taking him out of Ohio State's class, they do it with another Ohio State committed running back, Jordan Lyle. I like this player a lot. 6 foot, 180 pounds. As a senior at St. Thomas Aquinas, which of course is a mega high school football program, as a senior, he ran for a career high 1,376 yards. That was 10.6 yards per carry. Scored 21 touchdowns. He also caught 13 passes for 177 yards and a touchdown. All of this done in 15 games this past year, Bruce. And okay, so
in other words, an all-purpose back that can take it to the house.
Yes,
right. We have that, and that's really good. They have him. It's a St. Thomas kid, which is even better.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job, but everybody's still harping about the quarterback. So, we got to get this kid. If we don't get Ward, and now we're looking at Jefferson, who to me is not as good as Ward, but I don't think Ward is an NFL first, second. I've seen a late third round, early fourth round projection, but that's about the best. I think if we get this kid, whether we get Smith or not, we're going to get another receiver somewhere that's going to fill the void that we have because we lost Young. He never really had the breakout year. He had the potential, but now he's going to Georgia, so he'll probably go have about 1,000-yard receiving.
Yeah,
but
no doubt about that.
I'm happy about what they're doing. I really am.
Well, and let's talk about this running back situation. I think landing Lyle for a number of different reasons is so important for Miami. I mean, the obvious is, as we talked about, this is a great player. This is a productive player, a local guy. It's really important to keep those pipelines going. Being able to land multiple players every cycle from places like St. Thomas Aquinas and American Heritage, and then, of course, places like Miami Central. Like it's, people are asking about, what happened to the IMG Academy pipeline, which was a big deal last year, not a big deal this year, but it's like, okay, that's all fine and good. But having these local Dade and Broward high schools having these pipelines is even more important than the IMG Academy thing right now.
You got Johnson last year, a local.
Yeah.
And now you got this kid Wheatley, who's a local.
Wheatley-Humphrey from South Broward,
smaller, but he's got blazing speed, just like Johnson. So our running back room is really good. It's very good. And I trust that they're going to fix that offensive line. They'll fill in. Little Rivers is staying, which is a big deal. We still have right. These guys said the same thing. I just mentioned Wheatley. They have a good room. We need another receiver, but I think Horton's going to wind up stepping in for Young, so that should balance things out. The offensive line will be great. I'll tell you what's going to be great, and I know my friend Mark Caesar's listening or watching because I sent them the link. But the defensive line, we've been talking about this, and everybody keeps jumping down my throat. You keep talking about, look at the D line that Mario. I mentioned it all season. You and I talked about it, and he realized it. Look what the job he's done with that D line. Wow. So that's what we've always needed. He's starting from the inside out to build this team, kind of like Jimmy did, and then he started to expand. And when Erickson got here, he got Sapp and these other guys. So if he gets a quarterback, I'm not doing any more predictions, but I think our team would be much better next year because he's solidified a lot of positions. He lost guys, but thank goodness that now we know is coming back. So now he's the anchor at the linebacker position. So we should be much better next year, much better.
Well, and let's talk about the new center that Miami has landed. Of course, losing Matt Lee to the NFL, when he made that decision, Miami knew they had to go all in to get an experienced center like they did with Lee last year, because that's just a position where they didn't have a lot of experience. I mean, Ryan Rodriguez is an upperclassman, but doesn't have that sort of top line playing experience. Antonio Tripp redshirted last year. I don't think he's ready to take over. They've got Nino Francavilla coming in as a true freshman. He wouldn't be ready day one to be the starting center. So Miami lands a really experienced player, Zach Carpenter, transfers in from Indiana. He chooses Miami over North Carolina and Maryland. This past season, this is per our pal Matt Shodell from Kane Sport. These are some of his stats. He allowed 10 quarterback pressures and 445 pass blocking reps, 2.3% pressure rate, which was third best in the Big Ten. That's pretty good, especially on a bad team like Indiana. Per PFF, in 804 overall reps this past year, he graded out at a 64.4% overall with a 71.8% pass blocking grade, which is really good. The run blocking grade, not quite as good at 61.0. He has started 27 games in his college career and now will be starting next season in Hard Rock Stadium.
What's his height and weight?
Yeah.
What's his height and weight, Alex?
He is Zach Carpenter. He's like tall. I think he's like 6'5", 3 something. Hold on, let me pull up the his profile here so I get that right.
Well, he's going to be surrounded by better players. That's
I know he's really tall for the position. He is. Hold on, I got to pull up. I don't know why his Indiana bio didn't have his height and weight in there. Yeah, he's 6'5", 300 pounds. So that's a big dude at that position. Yeah, there you go. Everyone else had it before me. 6'5", 300. Yeah, how about that?
I keep telling these guys, you complain about me, get your own show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best thing about the live chat.
Get your own guests.
Yeah. So Bruce, here's what I expect the starting offensive line to look like next season. You mentioned Jalen Rivers coming back at left tackle, which is big. He had an awesome season this past year. So Jalen Rivers at left tackle. I expect Matthew McCoy, who I like, and I know Alex Mirabal really likes him, to step in for Javion Cohen at left guard. Then you've got Carpenter now at center, Inez Cooper still at right guard, and Francis Mauinoa at right tackle. And Mauinoa was already really good as a true freshman. I mean, ACC All-American for ACC freshman All-American honors last year. He's only going to get better heading into his sophomore season. So the offensive line's in a great position.
And the holding calls have to stop. But yeah, you could just see he's massive, and he's going to get even better shape in the offseason.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, the latest twist in Miami's quarterback pursuit, as the Hurricanes are still waiting on an answer, good or bad, from Cam Ward. There is something new brewing behind the scenes. So, folks, you're going to want to hear about it. And, yeah, you're going to want to keep it locked right here on this brand new live episode of Locked On Canes. And I know you're keeping it locked to eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit available only to U.S. customers. Thank you so much for making this live episode of Locked On Canes your first listen today. It is a Truth Teller Tuesday. Bruce Warner joins us here on this episode. And guys, for the everydayers, if you want to take your everydayer experience to the next level, I'm talking to everybody in that live chat. I'm talking to everybody listening to the replay. Not only should you be like our guy Birdstone and smash that like button, but if you want to take that everydayer experience to the next level, sign up for our exclusive Locked On Canes Insiders chat. You get text messages directly from my phone to yours and vice versa. One-on-one questions. I give you guys recruiting scoops, breaking news, show updates. You can sign up by clicking the link in the show description below and try it free for 14 days. Try it free for 2 weeks, and then if you like it, you can opt in for $4.99 a month. Think of it like a Christmas gift to yourself. We give you a lot of added value on there on Locked On Canes Insiders, so make sure you check that out. And yes, be like our guy Salty and hit that like button. All right, so Bruce.
I like doing it live because I see all these comments now, actually, instead of reading it later on. But a lot of people are right. I mean, this one guy, Walter Burke, no pancake honcho. He's going to be the first guy off the bench.
Yes.
Tell you.
He and Tommy Kinsler. He and Tommy Kinsler will be important guys in the rotation.
Yes. They're the first two off the bench.
Yeah.
Because we were lucky this year.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, that we didn't have many injuries, if any, really, on the O-line. So,
yeah.
We're in a good spot. All right, so where are we going? Tomorrow, we're going where? We're going to quarterback.
Let's go to quarterback, Bruce. Like we can confirm that Miami they are kicking the tires on someone else. It doesn't mean that they're not still in the hunt for Ward. I want to get that out there. Like people see, they're after another guy. That must mean Ward isn't coming. Miami is still very much in the Cam Ward sweepstakes, but a lot of you have been complaining to me over the last few days. Why are we hitching our wagon to one guy? Why aren't we looking elsewhere? Miami is looking, we can confirm, at KJ Jefferson, the Arkansas transfer. I still think Miami prefers Cam Ward, as do I. But, Bruce, I like KJ more than a lot of Miami fans do because I've seen some of the reactions have been very negative at looking at this guy. He's 6'3", 250. He's a human wrecking ball. And I know he's polarizing among our fans, but remember, he was playing on a really, really bad team. The only SEC team that Arkansas beat was Florida, and that wasn't all on him, guys. He was a lot of times he kept them in games they shouldn't have been in. So KJ Jefferson last year completed 64% of his throws, 2,107 yards, 19 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. He ran for 447 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was Arkansas's leading rusher. So there, obviously there are some similarities to him and Ja'Carri Brown. So that's definitely another thing that Canes fans like. We already have him on the roster, but he's got a lot more experience than Ja'Carri Brown, though. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I think Ja'Carri got some money to play in this game, but that doesn't mean he's staying. He could still go, and then we'd really be stuck. So I don't think this guy Birdstone, he doesn't move the needle. He doesn't for me either. I get it, but if we're going to wait for Cam Ward and his father, who seems to be controlling everything, I still don't believe that the NFL draft for him is a smart move. So where does that leave us? It leaves us or Florida State. Mm-hmm. Now, they just had DJ, the quarterback from Oregon State, former Clemson quarterback. You pronounce his last name. Don't ask me to do it.
Weungalale. I've been practicing for 3 years.
So he hasn't said anything either about his Florida State visit. So we're both probably waiting. I think that Miami's in a better NIL position than Florida State. Apparently, a lot of those kids didn't get their money. Yeah. Malik Murphy. Listen, I don't know if they're going to go after him or not.
He's not as like you notice the profile of guys they're going after,
right?
Are because KJ Jefferson has about 4 years of starting experience. Cam Ward, 4 years of starting experience. Will Howard had, who, and by the way, I don't expect to get Will Howard, but there's been kind of a weird thing because people keep on reporting that he's officially committed to USC. I don't think he's made it official yet.
I don't think he is. So, but I don't know if he's a possibility anymore because obviously we're waiting for Cam Ward. Obviously. Yeah. Now, his situation is it the draft? Is it us? Is it Florida State? But the longer he makes us wait, which he should know his NFL, even if it doesn't have an official grade from the league, he should know. He's talking to, and his father's talking to enough people. I'm sure Alonzo knows where this kid's going to wind up. Now, I personally think maybe the father's holding out for another $500,000 to get it up to $2 million from 1.5.
Could be.
But we don't know. And the longer we don't know, the worse it is for Miami because then you're boxed in having to go out and get somebody and maybe even overpay because they'll have leverage on you.
Right.
So you got to go after Jefferson. Now Moore goes to Oregon, so that's their second get.
Yeah, they got 2 guys. Miami hasn't even gotten one yet.
Right. So there's guys out there. The guy you liked, the quarterback from Toledo, he's now going to Baylor.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and by the way, I liked him. I don't know if Miami ever really looked into DeQuan Finn. I liked him. I don't know if Miami was as interested as I was.
McCord goes to Syracuse.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a stud, but he's played for Ohio State.
Yeah.
We're sitting here like we're NFL experts and we're draft experts and scouts. We're not, but if Mario doesn't get this guy, with all the great he's done this year, it's still going to fall flat. Where's our quarterback? You have to have a quarterback. Nobody wins titles without quarterbacks. Nobody. Look what happened to Clemson. They were loaded. They had DJ as their quarterback after Watson left or whoever left. And he was terrible for
Lawrence.
2 seasons.
Yeah, Lawrence left.
Yeah, Lawrence left. So, I forgot. I'm just today. You woke me up. I'm drinking my coffee.
Did I wake? So I'm sorry to bother you this morning.
No, we said 10 o'clock and then you changed it.
Oh, we did? Oh, I thought we said 9:30. Well, I think the folks out there are happy that we're on at 9:30.
I love doing this show with you. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. But it's all speculation now. The day before these signings are supposed to take place, but he's done a hell of a job. I mean, our defense. I don't want to go back to it, but our defense should be. If not this year, next year. Wow. We are young and we are physical and tough. He's going to have to get rid of guys that he brought in like a year or 2 ago. They're overstacked right now. So thrilled about what he's done.
Now, I do want to say, because obviously we talked about Miami is they are recruiting KJ Jefferson, which it's important to have other irons in the fire, right? You don't want to have all your eggs in the Cam Ward basket. With that said, I do have reason to believe, Bruce, that Miami does probably have at least a slight lead compared to FSU for Ward.
I agree.
I think the problem for both is the timeline, because if he's really going to maybe drag this out until Christmas, Florida State's going to have to make a decision. How long can we afford to wait when we may be able to land DJ Uiagalelei, and Miami? Hey, if we are now recruiting somebody else like KJ Jefferson, could we potentially land him before Ward makes a decision? So the timeline gets very complicated on both sides, but I do have reason to believe that Miami is in a pretty good spot for Ward compared to Florida State, but nothing's for sure. Because like you said, the NFL draft card is being played by Ward and his family. You can't be 100% sure they're not really willing to do that, even if he's not a first or second day pick. And then obviously, even when you're competing with Florida State, you never know how things can change, right? Because with the way this goes in recruiting and transfer portal, you may feel like one school has the upper hand over another. It just takes one phone call and another zero on the NIL offer, and it can change it to the other side.
And again, I'll talk about Alonzo. Alonzo has got to have been able to talk to several of his NFL scouts and people he knows throughout the NFL for a grade on this kid. And if they say we're not picking him anywhere before the 4th round or something like that, then I'm sure Mario knows, and I'm sure the father and Cam himself knows. So I think they're trying to hang out for a little more money. Yes, Rocky, they're a dumpster fire. And Florida's worse. Florida is already on fire. Florida State, they haven't lit the match yet, but it's getting there, because you saw Jared Verse was furious, and several of them, because they didn't get their money.
Yeah,
right.
Right. Yeah.
And how do you commit to a school like that where they lie?
They did land Marvin Jones, but, with his dad being who he is, that might have affected that.
I'm surprised he didn't go there in the first place.
Yeah, that's right.
But, Georgia had a better team.
By the way, let me say this real quick on Kevin Riley. So Rich 2 times posts, hey, did you guys see Kevin Riley post Jordan Lyle last night after he flipped? Maybe Riley stays in this class. I will tell you that, like, early last night, I did have some hope that Miami can keep Kevin Riley committed. But then about an hour later, Steve Wiltfong drops a crystal ball for Kevin Riley to flip to Alabama.
Okay. You can't get everybody.
I know. So
look, Lyle was Ohio State. Another one we stole. We're getting even with them for all that stuff that happened. But this guy's got the same spatula. That's funny. Yeah. Look.
Oh, and by the way, shout out to our listener Nick, who sent this to me. And shout out to Caneswear. So Nick was nice enough to pick this up for me at Caneswear and ship it to me. So I want to send a shout out.
That's where I get all this stuff from. Caneswear.
Yeah.
A long sleeve with the cane stuff on there and Hurricanes, whatever it says on this side. Nothing on this side. Whatever. Those guys are great. All right, so Riley's going to Alabama. Big deal.
Probably, yeah.
And it's even less of a big deal if Citizen is healthy, because then we have a multitude of multi-purpose backs that can do everything.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see that picture the other day you did with Fletcher and Rohan?
Hey, you sent it to me.
And Ward.
Yeah.
And Jacoby George at Prime 112.
Yep.
How massive is Mark Fletcher?
Yeah.
I thought he was at the end. His
Same here.
His kid. Wow. He's only going to get better next year. You know it. I'm sure he's working on getting out of the backfield a little faster. He's a little slow to the line, but he is a truck, man. He is good.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
Really good.
So I want to discuss the latest comments from Jeremiah Smith now, because that's one. And again, I do think Miami is in a good position to land more flips tomorrow. They landed a flip from Jordan Lyle last night. I've got my eyes on Armando Blunt, 5-star defensive tackle committed to Florida State, defensive lineman, because he can play anywhere on the line. I've got my eyes on Adarius Hayes, 4-star linebacker committed to Florida, and I've got my eyes on Xavier Lucas, 3-star American Heritage defensive back committed to Wisconsin. But everyone wants to know what's going on with Jeremiah Smith. Is he fully locked in with Ohio State? We've got the latest quotes on what Jeremiah and what his family is thinking. So, folks, you want to keep it locked right here. We're not done yet on Locked On Canes. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. We're available free wherever you get your podcast. We're available free on YouTube. And folks, make sure after you're done, and we're not done, but after you're done watching Locked On Canes, you check out Locked On Sports Today. This network, the Locked On Network, your team every day, has launched the first ever 24/7 streaming sports YouTube channel. At any given time, you might see my face, you might see Drake Toll from Locked On Big 12. We had a crossover conversation that's going to be on this channel later and maybe on that channel as well. There's always something going on at Locked On Sports today because it is streaming 24/7, 365. The fun never stops there. All right, Bruce, would you like to hear a new 24/7 recruiting article came up on the number one player in the country, Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver.
If I want to hear you talk about it?
Yeah, do you want to hear me talk about it? Do you want to hear the quotes from Jeremiah?
Nope.
No?
Just kidding.
Look, I'm going to give it to you anyway.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming here. But he hasn't come out in public and said, leave me alone already. I'm going to Ohio State.
Well, he doesn't talk much. His father does most of the talking for him, which, listen, I totally get it because I can't, as the number one recruit in the country and as somebody considered a generational receiver, I can't even imagine what Jeremiah Smith's social media inboxes look like, what his phone looks like, because even if he doesn't want his phone number to get out there, I'm sure it gets handed around and he's getting hit up like crazy 24 hours a day. So he doesn't talk very much.
Have you seen him play?
Yeah, and there's a reason why he gets hit up every day.
It's like watching you go over your cousin's house and you're like 8 and 9 years old and you're playing ball with them. And it's like you can do everything all by yourself. You don't need these guys. That's what he's like. It's like a grown man with kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. He snatches the ball out of the air. He's way beyond his years.
Real quick, though, let me answer this live question. If Jalen Rivers becomes left guard, who will be left tackle? I think Jalen Rivers is staying at left tackle, and I think Matthew McCoy will probably be left guard this coming year. I don't think Rivers is moving positions, and I think it would be a disservice to him because he did such a good job at left tackle.
Yes,
keep him at that spot because that's also going to help his draft stock next year, right? If he can put in another really good full-time season at left tackle. But here's the latest from Jeremiah Smith on this new 24/7 sports article that just dropped this morning. Jeremiah said, "My family is not just about the money because I know that's just one thing," he says. "I know with NIL, we're going to get that. Everybody is throwing all types of money at us right now. There's just something about Ohio State that's keeping me locked in with them," he says. "I can go anywhere and chase money, but that's not how my family raised me. They want me to go somewhere and earn it," he said. "Miami is throwing all types of money at me. Florida, just a lot of schools. Ohio State, there's just something about them. I want to go there," he says. Now, the article continues. "Family matters, but in the end, Smith will make his own decision." Quote, this is what his father said. "He's handling it in a mature manner, and I'm proud of him." Jeremiah Smith recalls a visit to the University of Miami earlier this year when his cousin, NFL quarterback Geno Smith, tagged along. Miami offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson joked with the NFL veteran, and he coached Geno Smith at West Virginia, that he should steer the younger Smith to the Hurricanes. That's his decision, not my decision, Jeremiah recalls him saying. He doesn't get in the way with anything. And they also mentioned, Bruce, the Hurricanes pull at the heartstrings too. Rod Mack played for the Hurricanes in the mid-90s, and at least 4 of Smith's teammates on Mack's youth team are set to sign with Miami on Wednesday, the Miami Gardens Ravens. High school teammate JoJo Trader committed to Miami in July, and when he signs Wednesday, he will be the program's first 5-star receiver since Lance Leggett in 2004. Trader is one piece of the puzzle for Mario Cristobal, and then Jeremiah says he wants to keep all that talent home. I think all the great kids are going to start staying home and playing for Miami. So obviously, big part of that. Jeremiah, like from an Ohio State standpoint, he's saying all the right things about being locked in. I don't think Miami is out of it, but those comments make you feel like OSU definitely has the edge.
I would say goodbye, sayonara, arrivederci. What else is out there?
Yeah.
I just think he's gone. And you know what? It's okay. If we get Ward and he doesn't come here, I'd rather have that than to have him come here and have no quarterback. Yeah. Not that I don't want this kid, but I think he's going to Ohio State. Will he come back maybe like a lot of these kids? Maybe. You got your spatula, man. Next year or the year after. Him and the other kid that went there last year from down here.
That's right.
But look, forget about him. He's not the whole thing. Right now, we need a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where we go. But I want Ward. He's my first choice. If not, I just don't want to be stuck with somebody because he held us captive all this time. Right. What's today? Today's the 19th already.
19th, yeah.
Yeah. So, and when was the day you could officially get in there? On the 4th. It's 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, we don't have a quarterback. We had 2 visits. One kid's probably going to USC, and that's the only people that have been here. Now, if Florida State doesn't get him, do they sign DJ? Or
I think so.
You think so, right? And so his kid must know that he's waiting on what Ward's going to do. That's pretty sad that your future and somebody else.
I know. Well, and DJ has said he doesn't really have a timeline. So I think DJ really likes Florida State, and he's waiting for the green light.
Yeah, that could be. So we could get Ward and they get him. I'll be happy with that.
I would be thrilled.
Ward goes pro. Would you be happy with DJ? Or I don't think we would get him.
I don't for whatever reason hasn't seemed like we've recruited DJ. But I would hypothetically, if Ward is off the table, I would definitely kick the tires on DJ. You know, I wasn't really enamored with him at Clemson, but he played really well at Oregon State. And the Pac-12 was strong. Like the Pac-12 was better. Maybe not always defensively, but overall the Pac-12 was better than the ACC last year.
But I agree with you about him. I don't want him. I think he's already going to go to Florida State if they don't get Ward. I think that connection's already made. We didn't recruit the kid, so why would he even think about coming here?
Right.
So if it's not Ward and if it's not Jefferson, then what?
Yeah.
And I still don't count out. I see a lot of people down on Emory Williams. Well, he played in mop-up time. He played against Clemson. Yes, they really restricted the offensive play calling, but Miami won the game. He didn't give the game away like our other quarterback did who just transferred to Wisconsin. Then he plays in Florida State up in Tallahassee, and until he broke his forearm, we were on a drive to tie the game up.
Yeah.
So
until Tyler Van interception came in.
Look who he beat up in Tallahassee. He had us in the game with 3 minutes to go till he got hurt. So what's so terrible about him? He's only going to get better.
Yeah.
So I'm not throwing him under the bus and saying if we don't get Ward, we're screwed.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He will be back for spring practice.
Yes.
So, but we still need quarterbacks. Regardless, we need more quarterbacks.
Well, I appreciate your time because we are out of time, Mr. Warner. Truth Teller Tuesday.
We're
awesome
never out
job.
of time. That's good. Call up your company and tell them let's stay on for an hour.
We'll do 6 hours. And I'm going to be filling in for Larry Bluestein tonight on 560 WQAM because he's going to the Nat Moore Awards ceremony. So I'm going to be hosting his radio show 8 to 10 on WQAM. I'll be talking recruiting and National Signing Day. I think Blues can actually join me during the second hour of the show after he finishes.
You ought to join the Hurricane staff as a recruiting coordinator.
I'm going to tell him that.
These kids when they're in diapers.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we will talk to everyone again next time. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, spread the word that we're here talking Hurricanes football. And this time of year, we're talking transfer portal recruiting. We're going to be on like 100 times tomorrow for National Signing Day, so do not worry. We will talk to you again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.